Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, across our beloved Kyber Empire. It's yours truly, the Emperor Arnold T101, the first of his name, the king it should be, and the rightful ruler of the Kyber Empire, here at Alderaan. And here on AHN, the only news you'll ever need because you have no other choice. We got a lot of stuff to break down post road ahead that you need to know about. I'm talking about a huge Droideka Omicron update, making Grievous a lot more deadly. We missed a minor teaser as well about possible Wookiee love coming very shortly, which we have been speculating for a while now with Rise of the Empire. It also looks like we may have had our teaser of Relic 10 as well. We also got some new information about the KRAYT Dragon Raid to help put people at ease about some of their concerns about the new KRAYT Dragon Raid. I finally learned how to say this person's name. And for everyone who likes this video, we might just do a bonus meme section. So sit back, relax, and let's get into this segment of AHN. So while we talk about all this lovely, juicy news, I'm going to put some gameplay in the background. I did my Rise of the Empire run, and I want to show probably what's my favorite team right now in Rise of the Empire, and that's Sana Staros. It's great to hit full auto and let Cara Dune do her cheese on full auto to get me the win. Such a great team. But I digress. Let's get into our first little bitty here about the Droideka Omicron. The Droideka Omicron slipped through the cracks and wasn't really noticed by a lot of people because of all the other huge news we got. Well, we're putting it on your radar now. So in the current landscape of things, Droideka is not really used that much. At best, maybe in a Maul team to try to get Maul going, but we don't really see Droideka be placed into a Separatist team too often. With Grievous, you usually put Nute Gunnery in there, right? Since Trench is coming in another month, what I suspect CG is trying to do is they want to put Droideka back on the Grievous team since Nute Gunnery is going to be important for the Admiral Trench team. So this makes a lot more sense. And I've been saying I don't think Grievous is as amazing as they once were. They're just okay. I think this is going to make them a lot more threatening inside of, unfortunately, territory wars. But I'll be honest about this as well. I feel like I'm becoming more and more accepting of territory wars since Datacrons are kind of annoying me in Grand Arena. I'm becoming more okay with Territory War Omicrons. I just wish I could play Territory Wars a little bit more. While in Territory Wars, and if all allies are Separatist droids, so you can't use Trench, you can't use Nute Gunnery, Wat Tambor, etc. Droideka gains damage immunity for 1 turn at the start of the encounter. That's great. And the best part is it can't be copied, dispelled, or prevented. So think about Jango Fett with their damage immunity. This is big right here. Droideka also gains 1 stack of charge for 1 turn whenever another ally takes a turn. And especially when you're running a turn meter train, this is big. Right now, they only gain charge per enemy turn. Now, if you get charge per enemy turn and your turn, Droideka's gonna hit pretty dang hard. And whenever an ally is marked by Grievous, of course, Droideka gains 25% max health, which is stacking until the end of the encounter. And the ally in the leader slot gains 20% turn meter, i.e. Grievous. So when Grievous is under 100% health, they mark like crazy, right? Until they get healed up. Each of those marks is gonna feed turn meter to Grievous, and Droideka is gonna be getting crazy amounts of unlimited 25% health stacking. And then get this, at the start of each turn, if Droideka has damage immunity, all allies are immune to daze and stun. So usually if you think of Jedi Knight Revan, old school stuff, you use Jedi Knight Luke, Jedi Knight Revan, something of the days to stop B2. That's not gonna be the case here. And then when Droideka finally gets marked, remember, with all that max health increasing, that means likely Grievous is gonna mark Droideka, and if they have damage immunity, you're kind of screwed. All other allies are gonna get 25% potency and 25 speed. Ooh. Speed boost on a Grievous team, that's great. Extra potency means more target lock opportunities. And then the first time Droideka is defeated while marked and an ally is active, you get to revive all allies at the end of the turn, and then all allies recover 100% health. And then at the start of Droideka's turn, all allies recover 10% health and protection. So a constant health protection increase as well while Droideka's alive. This is kind of reminiscent of the Imperial Probe Droid Datacron right now, where when Probe Droid's defeated, it can revive everyone. So they're bringing some of that Datacron shenanigans into Droideka. Let me just say, I wish this was just a rework so I can use it anywhere in Grand Arena, anywhere inside of Territory Wars, and wherever it might be. This is a bangerific Omicron, and I think this is going to bring Grievous up to a higher degree of relevancy inside of Territory Wars. All I can hope is that maybe we'll get another Omicron for Grand Arena, because again, when we're using Admiral Trench, it's probably going to take apart Nute Gunnery. I would love if they add something for Grand Arena or General Grievous as well. But maybe that's not going to be in the works because Admiral Trench is mostly designed for Territory Wars. So they want to make sure Grievous still has something to use in territories. Time will tell. Very good. since I'm a big droid fanatic, I'm probably going to apply this. We got to talk about this. When we were doing the road ahead, I didn't even bother reading the That's a Wrap portion on the road ahead. I was too excited with all the stuff with the Tuskens, the new raid, the new Cal Kestis Jedi series stuff. But if you take a look at this, they say thank you for reading, and we hope you're as excited as we are for the coming months. It is going to be a busy quarter as we jump from Tatooine to Bracca to Kashyyyk and many more planets. But we'll have another installment of Road Ahead in April's when the next Road Ahead's coming, where they're going to dive deeper into the new raid and maybe drop a few more exciting announcements. So stay tuned. So a few things to pick for this. It's still going to be a little bit before the KRAYT Dragon raid hits. And the other thing to notice is in this Road Ahead, we talked about Tatooine stuff, right? Tuskens and KRAYT Dragon, Boba Fett sign of Jango. We talked about Bracca with Jedi Fallen Order, Jedi Survivor stuff, Cal Kestis, Marin, the list goes on and on. But what they did not talk about in this Road Ahead was Kashyyyk. So my take from this, seeing that Rise of the Empire on Kashyyyk, we have a Wookiee faction battle, and it's pretty much impossible to 2 out of 2 it. This makes me believe we're probably going to get some more Wookiee stuff later on this year, maybe even in this quarter for this Road Ahead, and they just didn't announce it. Remember, the Road Ahead doesn't reveal everything, just the broad strokes of what they're trying to do. So Wookiee love might be around the corner. Now, a while ago, when we broke down the leak that already told us about the KRAYT Dragon raid, I suspected there was going to be a new Relic increase, possible Relic 10, right? When there's a new raid, big piece of content, some new feature, there's usually something important gated behind it. Kind of went over my head, but this basically tells me Relic 10 is around the corner. If you look at the lead for the Tusken Chieftain, which should be out tomorrow as a marquee event, if I believe, and we'll be doing a lot of testing on that. The clause we want to pay attention to is for each stack of momentum removed this way with all the momentum removal, there is a 20% chance plus 5% per relic amplifier, maxing out on a total of 50% to inflict the damage over time on each attack enemy for 2 turns. The key thing being plus 5% per relic amplifier, maximum of 50%. Right now, if you have Relic 9, the highest you can get is 45%. So logic would probably dictate that we're likely getting the Relic 10 so we can hit the full potential of 50%. But speaking of the KRAYT Dragon raid, perfect transition here. Let's talk about some additional information that our community manager, one of them at least, Meathead, gave in regards to this new KRAYT Dragon raid that wasn't in the road ahead, and to try to ease some of the concerns. So reading my comments, reading the room, and reading my own worries and concerns, and just kind of predicting where we're going here, there was a few concerns. Number one being, are you going to get equal rewards compared to before? Because remember, they're trying to move to a one raid all thing, and people worried, what about previous rewards? What about Traya, Kenobi, Han Solo shards? A lot of people were worried about that. I wasn't that worried about it. I can't imagine them not giving people a way to get legacy raid characters. I know we give CG a lot of crap, but even when they moved crystals away from Squadron to Grand Raid, for the most part, it was a net positive for most people out there. And they said, even in the road ahead, that the reward should be equal or greater than before. But nonetheless, Meathead came out and kind of clarified a few things. Here on Reddit, we had a concerned commenter, $300 Monitor, and they posed several amazing questions that were kind of on a lot of people's minds. They're asking, how are you going to farm old raid characters? Also, if you're only running one raid at a time, the gear from this raid needs to be really good. Heck yeah, it better be. And then with the removal of CPIT, how are we getting Relic 8? Meathead said, to answer your first question, players will always have the ability to acquire any shards they may be lacking of older raid exclusive characters with this new raid rewards. Now remember, there's an individual track and a guild track. My suspicion is maybe as you're climbing the track, you'll get the rewards for like the previous raids, and as you go to a higher bracket, then you're going to get into the new reward. For the rewards portion, the team is making sure that with the removal of other raids, to turn this into a one raid focus for guild, the system will benefit the player. The guild's going to pick the raid they believe they can score points on. If your guild is maxing a raid's point to the max, you should be moving on to the next raid. Individual players will modify their own runs to earn more points for their guild, meaning someone can run a raid attempt on a 0 modifier for X points, while someone in the guild can run theirs with max modifications for a lot more points. So they're saying that the reward should be what you had before, and you're still going to get the old characters if you're someone that still doesn't have Han, Kenobi, and Traya. And in theory, this sounds great. In application, we're going to have to wait and see, but seeing how they manage the crystals for Grand Arena, even if you're doing poorly in Grand Arena, you're probably getting some more crystals than before. And also, we had some people complaining about the exclusivity of certain factions and teams. And I want to remind you guys, there's a difficulty slider for this. This isn't like a Relic 5, Relic 8 gate that would prevent a lot of people from playing it. That's one of the things that a challenge pit rancor rate, it excluded so many people from playing it. Here, with a difficulty slider, you're going to get a lot more people playing it. So even if you have Gear 10 Tuskens or Jawas, you can modify the difficulty to suit your needs. And I think that's a win over the previous challenge rank rate model. I would much rather take this difficulty modifier that includes more people to enjoy the Star Wars experience rather than a high relegate model. And speaking of that, Meathead actually goes into this as well in a comment. We had a commenter, TOJ85. They said, I'm glad they are moving the competition between guildmates for first place in raids, which is fantastic, but they are concerned about gatekeeping raids of factions. I know my guild doesn't have a lot of Tusken and Jawa teams. Would the Old Republic be enough to get the same rewards for the Rancor plus all the others? We'll see. Meathead said, from the latest build they saw, and this is all subject to change, when you go into a raid difficulty modifier, you can select no modifiers and you can earn up to a certain amount of points per attempt. If you make your attempt and you max out your potential points, don't submit the score, go back, add a modifier, and see if you max that out. Rinse and repeat until you find your sweet spot. And when you feel you got the team that you're bringing in can earn no more points based on the modifiers you've chosen, submit your attempt. That accounts for one attempt. And attempts don't count so long as you don't submit them. So you're freely to go in and punch up modifiers to see how good your team can do with the modifiers. And keeping in mind that they're planning on releasing more raids, likely they're going to hit a raid that has something more of what you have. So if you have a lot of Galactic Republic, maybe Sith, Separatists, it sounds like they're going to come around to that at some point. So for me, I think this is a much better model. And it's a lot more interesting to try to modify a raid to your own personal liking. That's kind of a lot of customization at your hands. Probably bigger news, I learned how to say this name correctly. So I said Sari, my Polish pronunciation kind of kicked in there. And boy, did that really tick off a lot of people. I am happy to announce the way to say this name is Sir Junda. Thank you. Thank you. I know I'm the best. Apologies if it made you cringe or you had a hard time. So it's been a few years since I played this game. And the only like 3 names I remember are Cal Kestis, Marin, BD Malicos, and I don't even remember who the second sister name was. So apologies. Hopefully I can be forgiven for my transgressions towards this name. I still think it's a weird way of saying it. Seer. It should be Seri. Doesn't it? You gotta admit, my version sounds way better. All right, Gary, let's take a look at the likes. Yes! It's bonus meme time! The memes have been amazing after the road ahead reaction for a lot of people out there. So let's go break down some of them. We got this one from Double Mobes. And this is making me wonder if I should delay my updated farming guide. My 2023 farming plan. The KRAYT Dragon Raid. The challenge pit rank raid was kind of one of the core things for deciding what the best farming path should be. That's why Spearman of Kylo is so amazing. With this now, the raid is a bit more up in the air. Next up, speaking of the challenge pit Rancor raid, we got one from Fuel Mobile 2030. Challenge pit Rancor raid. Younger guild. I'm actually kind of surprised there are some people that are a bit saddened about the challenge pit Rancor raid. I think this new model is going to be a lot better so long as the rewards stay same or better and you can get it just as easily or as difficult as it was before. The challenge pit Rancor raid wasn't really, you know, once you've done it, you're kind of done with it. I think a more updated breathing model of a raid with new bosses sounds a little bit more interesting. And I gotta agree with this one. This is from Exegart08. CG brings Cal Kestis. He has 3 Territory Battle Omicrons. Kind of hard to get excited over a Territory Battle Omicron based character. I'm assuming Cal Kestis Survivor is still gonna be good without the Territory Battle Omicrons. But it's kind of hard to get as excited. Right now, my Omicron preference is Grand Arena. Territory Wars is starting to eke up closer to Grand Arena because of Datacrons annoying the heck out of me. And Territory, there's definitely a big gap. I still do not have a single Territory Battle Omicron character yet in my roster. And then, yes, I was thinking the same thing. CG, they're probably starting to get bored of their Inquisitor toys. I don't want to play with you anymore. And this is great too. I did not think of this, but we have the Lil Virtuoso with the upcoming addition of Mirren to lift the Knights as a faction. This means that finally we can probably finally beat the challenge tier 3 of the Secrets and Shadows Assault Battles without Relic 8, Relic 9 Night Sisters. Let's go! Yeah, there's not a lot of people beating the Secrets and Shadows, and there's very few videos of it, and it's very RNG dependent with high luck and high amount of relics. And ladies and gentlemen, that's gonna wrap it up for today. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode of Arnold HoloNet News, the only news you'll ever need because you have no other choice. Be sure to like, comment down below, subscribe, and all your thoughts, and always remember that it's great to be in the Empire today. Oh, it's great to be in the Empire today. The sun never sets.